I'd like to raise the issue with you of international cyber norms. What I mean by international cyber norms is we need to develop agreements across the globe about what is okay and what is not okay over the digital platform. We have this concept of territorial waters, where everybody understands that if a boat from a foreign country gets within 12 miles or so of the United States, that's considered a violation of international law. That creates certainty, it creates stability, because we all understand what is okay and what is not okay, and what might constitute an invasion or not an invasion. We don't have that in digital space. Just in the last year, President Biden had to tell President Putin what portions of our critical infrastructure in this country are off limits. When they met in Europe, he had to say, these are what we consider to be critical infrastructure, and if you conduct an assault upon us, we will consider that attack upon the United States. Before President Biden was there was actually some evolution about whether we were going to use nuclear weapons in response to critical infrastructure attacks. That's a perfect illustration of how destabilizing the lack of international cyber norms can be. Now, when I was United States Attorney, a large portion of my work was dedicated to applying law to digital space, and my thesis was that if American citizens couldn't do something here, that it ought not be okay for people from foreign countries to do it just because they didn't live here. If they were going to feast on our markets, they had to abide by our laws. I was trying to apply law to the digital space in a uniform way. And what a cyber norm landscape might look like is complicated, but in simple terms, there would be agreement on what is clearly illegal and what is okay. These would involve crimes. This would involve rights of privacy. I think after that, like we have done with regard to treaties, largely managed by the United Nations and other multinational organizations, we can work to develop further agreement within the details of the smaller issues. But right now, we have none of that. We owe it to ourselves to enforce our laws uniformly and then use that enforcement as a tool to advance the discussion on the development of international cyber norms.